Well, hello there. I want to wish everyone a very nice Thursday evening here, coming from Cave Creek, and it's hope everyone's doing well, or the best we could be doing during this very difficult time. You know, it's routines become very prevalent, and so it's. But I'm getting a lot done, and hope everyone out there is finding things that maybe things you always wanted to do, and keeping yourself busy to get through this, and soon, hopefully, it'll be all behind us. Good seeing Tim out here. Tim was a former student. Hopefully, he'll be back soon, Tim. So we're looking forward to seeing you back here someday. Susan, likewise. And Rosie, good seeing you, Rosie. Well, this has been a really rather interesting week. We're getting some great weather. I went up my road bike today and social distance way up in the hills, and just had to watch out for all the deer that are out, but I gotta, I think 22 miles in today, and get back here, and just kept busy with a lot of composition, a lot of things I'm working on. Speaking of composition, I've been kind of inspired through all this to sit at the piano each night and play some music. And tonight I'm going to be sharing one of my newest originals. And on Saturday I'll be over at my Facebook channel, and I'll be playing that. I think I'll probably still do this one, this particular original. But the following week, each show I'm planning on doing a brand new original. That's my incentive. So it's kind of like my homework for the week, to try to get some things done. But it really is a very inspiring time to have a clear head and let a lot of emotion come off your hands and onto the music. So it's really a pleasure to have that, have these pieces of music now to have as a memory. Let's see what's happening. I'm going to be I'm regularly going to be featured on YouTube here. I want to thank you all for coming here, and this YouTube audience is I think in time it will probably grow too, because I got quite a few on the YouTube channel right now, and I'm going to be actually putting up a lot of more performances, and there's a lot of content as well. So you'll be seeing a lot of piano instruction content, and soon I hope to be doing some piano instruction seminars or workshops here. Once I get the switcher here, I've ordered a camera switcher, and as soon as it's here and I figure out how to get it up and going, that's something for the pianists out there that would want to come in and talk piano with me for a while. It'd be really a lot of fun. So I'm really embracing this opportunity to learn this source of media, and it's a wonderful way to reach family and friends and stay connected with all you. So I'm really very blessed. Feel very blessed in that way. Tonight, Lenny Whitmore, from West Bridgewater, Mass. The jazz guru. Lenny is he was one of my big fans back east, and used to come up and see me at the White Mountain Hotel when I was playing there. I played there for like 11 years, in a beautiful dining room at the White Mountain Hotel and Resort in North Conway, New Hampshire, and I was also at the Eagle Mountain House in Jackson. Two beautiful places, real picturesque. So lots of memories. So again, Lenny probably thought he'd never hear me again, but lo and behold, here we are, Lenny. So thank you for coming by again. I'm going to be playing. I try to play different tunes every single show, and I'm up to, I think, show 12 now. So I'm doing different tunes. However, I might repeat one tonight because I'm on a kind of a theme mode. But this first tune I want to play for you tonight is again older tunes, not often played on the gigs. Sometimes you don't get these things called, because they're kind of older. But I like playing them, and surely it's always inspired me to kind of learn these old tunes. When I was sitting behind there like Ritz-Carlton, playing solo piano night after night, to try to get my arms wrapped around some of these other tunes. This first tune is called Laura. There you have it. There was a tune called Laura, and again, kind of old tunes. I pull from this kind of old, a lot of old tune library from all these jazz tunes, and you could do so many different things with them. And it's funny how often you can play tunes differently, and it brings up a very interesting. Yeah, Tim just commented about how awesome this mic. I should at this time do a nice plug for this wonderful, wonderful microphone company. I'm very proud to be on the one of the artists for this particular Earthworks microphone here. It's sitting on my piano here. It's the PM40, and it is outstanding. It is not beyond. I mean, you're hearing it this good through a stream. You can imagine what it sounds like on real recordings, and you'll see that on my YouTube channel. You'll see a lot of my solo piano trio stuff, where we don't have even the lag in the stream, but it's just an extraordinary mic. And I'm just going right into for you techie guys out there, I'm going into a Zoom H4n when I record it for my recordings. Here I'm just going into a mixer, and I'm coming into the software to capture the microphone. So again, a very big thank you to the Earthworks team, Kim and all the gang out there. They are just wonderful. They're like a small family in an internationally known product, kind of. So they're right in New Hampshire too. So I'm making a point to get out there at some point. It'd be really cool. So it brings up the other thing I'm going to talk about a little bit is that first tune. The last show I did, I had touched upon a story about the wonderful Armin Boatman. And Armin was a pianist here in the Valley. When I first moved here, he was very kind to me and kind of gave me the time of day. He was the new guy in town kind of thing. And we had mutual respect for each other. It was really he was very nice. And he got me playing up at the Jazz in the Hills there in Fountain Hills. So I was doing the feature jazz there on Friday nights, I believe. And we did it quite regularly. But I remember Armin, and he asked for this tune, and the last show, I could have sworn, I get it mixed up, but I played Old Cape Cod and Latin, but actually the tune was Melancholy Baby, which you heard the very first tune with the trio before I came into the picture here, and I wanted to put that out there because it's a really old kind of, nostalgic kind of tune, and you hear it around piano bars and things, but to play it as Latin, it really sits nice. And so if you get a chance, you can go back and hear that jazz trio of that. But that was what Armin Boatman had said, Melancholy Baby, man? And it was on my break. And so I went back up with the trio, and I think Don Moya was on it. And I think Dwight Killian, I think Dwight Killian was on it. And we were playing, and we played it as a Latin, and it was really kind of a fun kind of ride for us to go down this path. So anyway, I'm going to continue now with another tune. It's kind of a cool one to play, and it can be done different ways. Again, sometimes we play these tunes Latin. In fact, the original that I wrote, I had written it as a slow bossa nova that I'm going to play in a few tunes. And I think I'm going to start revealing these Corona tunes that are coming out of me now, sitting in here in the darkness and playing and writing stuff. But so this next tune is called Speak Low. And it could be played different ways, but I'm going to play it as a bossa nova for you right now. And I'm going to do different things with it. And again, a lot of times you try holding that bossa nova together as a solo piano player, you can do a lot of different kinds of control things to keep the groove going along. So hope you enjoy. Okay, here we go. There you have it. Speak Low, another jazz tune. It's always fun to play, and again, I'd like to remind you too that I'm hoping to. My full intention here is to eventually, once we get this cloud over us here, we will be looking forward to having great parties and gatherings here at my home, where I'm going to be able to stream live to you with real bands. So that's the thing. So here's the other thing too for a lot of the piano players out there that are looking at it. You hear me a lot on the trio setting, and often solo piano is how I pretty much made a living my whole life. Been doing it for 45 years now, teaching. And again, for those that might not know this, I was one of the first to do the video correspondence, and it's kind of a sad time to think that it's come full circle to having everyone have to figure that out now under a crisis. So it's I'm surely willing to help anyone out there that should be looking in here that might want some advice or some of my experience of how I've dealt with it through the years, and what worked for me and what didn't. I'd be more than happy to share my experiences with you. But I'm hoping to be able to do some live concerts right from the house here, streaming, because this is really a lot of fun. It's a great way to connect with an audience that's not just in your hometown or in the state you're living in, so you can connect globally. And it has a different kind of. I was talking to someone about it today, that this whole live thing, it's a different thing. If I'm playing in my house, and I'm sitting here recording, I might take 3 or 4 takes of something, or say, well, I'm not comfortable with that one. This is the way it is, man. It's just like you put it all out there and you just let it all come out, and it just it gives you that kind of real, personal, live kind of feeling that you don't get on a recording. So, although I'm going to be still doing a lot of recording, I do intend to. It's one of the greatest things for musicians to be heard. And I still look back on all those gigs you're seeing, these trios, and a lot of my solo gigs when people come in to hear me play. And it's a wonderful feeling. You spend your whole lifetime learning the art form, and then to have that kind of live acknowledgement, it's really very cool. So this next tune, well, thank you, Pam. I'm gonna reach out to another great student. She's doing some really cool stuff on her lesson. It's really cool because a lot of the material that I play here, the students that have been with me some time are starting to see even the hidden components of what they're working on is all coming out here at the high pro level. So it's kind of it's very cool, So hopefully it will inspire you and not discourage you, because a lot of it takes a lot of control, a lot of discipline. But it's a lot of times when you get older too, it's about sometimes of the less the notes. Sometimes I have a lot of technique, and I can use that to my advantage here when I'm playing solo piano. But a lot of times it's about when I play in the house here at night, I'm playing very soft, very pensive, and I'll get a chance to do that for you tonight too. So this next tune is a really fun tune. I call it a lot on the gig, and it's really just a swinging tune to play, and it's called "Taking a Chance on Love." There you have it. Taking a chance on love. Okay, who we got here? Hey, Beth Woods. Hey, good seeing you, man. And I appreciate you popping in. This has been really a lot of fun, man. This is really like piano's a lot better than I have in my gigs. It's one of those. I mean, occasionally we get a really a great piano. I mean, they have some good ones. I shouldn't say that. The piano they had at Fountain Hills was really unbelievable. That Kanabi they had, 7-foot Kanabi. I'm getting a glass of water here. Here we go. What service? Can I have a shrimp cocktail too? Prime rib. It's There you go. Thank you. The well, we have this stuff. Well, a lot of times too, you know, you might hear me like I hum a lot. You know, it's like one of these kind of weird things. And so I'm playing. Well, before I get into that story, let me tell you about the pianos. The Nash has a great piano. There's a lot of great pianos around. I shouldn't say that, but you know, it's just something to be said about playing for people on your own piano that I play regularly. I love this piano. This is a good one. It's a C3, 6'1" Yamaha. It's 1989, and I found the needle in a haystack. It's one of those great ones, you know. So it's really cool. This next tune coming up is where was I going? I had another my thought. See, remember what I was just talking about? I'm scattering here. The my waitress just left. So anyway, we're having fun here. This is our every night's a Saturday night here. So it's like I'm sure for everyone else out there, you don't know what it is. You wake up, you're like, what day is it, man? What day is it? So that brings up the next tune. It's one of my new originals that I wrote, and I'll have another one next week that I'll be portraying. It's really cool. It's this one, I initially wrote it as a slow bossa nova, and I had, and there's an element of, I wrote it in the dark. I write all this stuff in the dark, and I write it on my phone. Coming from Denmark. Hey, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate your support, man. This is great. Yeah, you play better solos when you sing along, Tim. Well, yeah. So the whole singing thing. So. That's where I was going. Thank you for reminding me. When I do recordings, they have to throw quilts over the piano because they're in the control room. They're saying, "What the hell is this guy doing?" It's like, well, you know, and I don't do it intentionally. And I remembered, you know, Keith Jarrett, of course, is known for it. He does it a lot. And I remember in an interview that they had with Keith Jarrett that, and he's an extraordinary classical piano player too, extraordinary. And I remember someone telling me, or it was, I heard this, that it was in an interview with Keith Jarrett, that he only kind of yells and stuff when he's playing jazz because it's so unknown. Every second I touch the piano, I don't know where I'm going. It's very, obscure, you know, whereas you could play the most insanely difficult classical music and with it being more predictable and more it's a certain way, it might not exude that kind of, you know, that nonsense, I call it. It's like I'm trying to do everything I can to hold back on it. But anyway, this is very much my whole thing with we're singing. I sing along when I play, I hum, and I try to avoid it, and I try to sit back from it, and it's very hard to do. It's almost like teaching someone, you know, that's been walking a certain way to change the way they walk. So that's kind of my thing. Errol Garner, okay? Errol Garner was a big one. He did this whole grunting thing. And I remember Charlie Banakis, the great Charlie Banakis, who I studied with. Charlie was saying one of his favorite piano players, you know, was Errol Garner. You know, I remember him telling me that. I thought that was really cool. So anyway, this new tune I'm going to be playing for you is I played it first as a slow bossa nova, and when I wrote it, and it was really cool. And I remember playing it, and Seema was in the living room. She goes, "Oh, that's really cool. What was that?" I said, "I just wrote it. I just put it together." And then it's always fun to come up with a name. And so then I played it afterwards. I shared it with a couple of other musicians on the East Coast. And Charlie Jennison, a great tenor player and piano player. I had fun sharing it with Charlie, and Charlie had fun checking it out. But I also played it as a ballad, and so tonight I'm going to play it as a Latin, because the next tune I'm playing is a ballad for you. But it's called "Forever April," and how true is this? We're in April, and it just seems like it's going to go on forever. So I thought it was very. And when I wrote it, it doesn't sound very sad. It won't sound really, really sad, but it's it's one of those kind of things where I had hope, I suppose, and optimism you can hear in it, and at the time when I wrote it. So it's but there's surely a hint of sadness in there. But it's hope you enjoy "Forever April." Here we go. Well, there you have it. That's my first tune inspired from this whole episode of being home all the time and just sitting by my piano and staring at my piano 24 hours a day. So it's and again, it sits really nice as a ballad too. So it really is kind of, oh, Sandy, great seeing you, man. Oh, wow, great singer and great friend from New Hampshire, and it's so nice to be able to share all this with you. So again, that was called Forever April. So maybe I'll play it. And one of these times I'll play it as a slow ballad, and it's another way to hear it, another sense of emotion coming out. I'm not going to tell you the name of the next one that I wrote, but it's a really very cool, very deep, and I'll be playing that next week. Okay, so this next tune, speaking of New Hampshire, and the first tune I played was Laura, and it was there's so many tunes out there that are written. When Joanna Loved Me, Michelle, Danny Boy. It's about people, and sometimes this next song that I want to play for you it turned out to be a favorite of mine, and I used to listen to Bill Evans and great Dave McKenna and a lot of great players play this. It's called Emily. The story behind this is, again, I know I touched upon it. This is the one I played several shows back, and I thought my son was going to be an Emily because I had 3 daughters, and then my 4th kid was like, okay, this is for sure going to be Emily, and I specifically didn't want to know. I wanted to be surprised, but it was just insane to be able to sit down and I remember when he was delivered, everyone, the whole ward, I mean, all the nurses and everything at Memorial Hospital in New Hampshire, small little hospital in the mountain ski town, and so I have Ryan. So it's Ryan. So it's so every time I play Emily, I think of Ryan. But it's he was the son that I've always wanted, I guess. And I love my daughters too, and I don't know if they're in here tonight. I have great kids, so they're all very much been surrounded by piano. And the other interesting thing that many of you might ask me, one of the biggest questions I ask, do any of your kids play piano? That's a really loaded question from a guy that was like teaching 1 million students always. I was always teaching and very, very busy. So it's kind of like the carpenter that says, and their wife saying, well, hey, honey, why haven't you did the baseboards yet or fixed the lamp? Because they're out all day working. So it's almost like that. I wasn't trying to avoid my kids, but I was waiting for them to give me the signal that they really wanted to do it. They always were either dancing, they were always skiers, and they're athletics. And my daughter Brooke sang a little bit. So I was waiting for that signal. I exposed them to the piano, but I never was one to really push them on it, So, will I regret that someday? I don't think so. I mean, it's one of those kind of things. I think piano is one of those kind of things that it really helps to want to be able to do this. But it also helps to have a great teacher to be able to kind of push you along, get you through the dark sides of the idiom, the studies of it. So anyway, I'm going to get on and play you some Emily, and hope you enjoy. There you have it, Emily. Okay. Oh, I got someone in from Japan. Hey, nice seeing you, man. Hey, thank you for joining the show here. It's really exciting to know that this is a kind of a global thing we got going on here. I got someone in. So we had. This is what this is all about. This is why I'm reaching out to my YouTube channel, and Facebook seems to be a little bit more in the U.S., you know. So I'm going to be on my Facebook page Saturday at 5 p.m. and I'm going to be doing regularly coming to you on my YouTube channel on Thursdays with hopes to meet that international crowd out there. Like we have someone in Japan here, so which is really great. So I cannot thank you enough for coming in. And you could see some of the past shows. The last two shows will still be up. In addition to that, I have a lot of instructional material. I'll be doing a lot of content, beginner, intermediate, very advanced skills. I just put a thing up on the great giant steps on my intermediate advanced video using my frames. It's like playing giant steps, man. It's like a great hard jazz tune. For those that don't know what giant steps is, it's a tune by John Coltrane, and it's very difficult to play on, to improvise over. And I have you playing on what I call little piano. So you're playing these 7-note frames, 6-note frames, 5-note frames, and 4-note frames. So you're playing on 4 notes. You're playing a whole solo on 4 notes of the piano, and I frame it out with these little cards. It's really something to see, and it really helps players like unbelievable. So, okay, so I'm gonna, let's see what we got here. We got Tim. I'm glad you enjoyed Emily. I remember turning Tim on to that in our lessons, and Sandy, yeah, it brings a lot of memories. Yeah, very, very much a lot of memories from playing all over Mount Washington Valley, man. What a great place to raise kids. I had all my kids there, and it was they're all skiing. We had goats and a bunch of dogs, and it was like, and I had a big Suburban where I had to drive to my gig in the snow in the mountains there, and have to plow through the snowbanks at the end of the driveway with my suit and tie on at the end of the day. So I'm going to wind down today with an interesting tune, and I'm going to go back to the very first tune that was on the trio recording where I played it as a Latin. I'm going to play it a little differently. I'm going to play it more as a kind of a just a different interpretation of the old tune called Melancholy Baby. And again, some people would look and frown upon these tunes and not realize there's so much hip stuff that can be done with these things, and you really got to dive in and give it your best. It really is one of those. It's one of those things that I remember back when Charlie Banakis, when I studied with Charlie. It was all about making the best music out of what you had to play. And I never forget the time, and I still think about it. I might have mentioned it in one of the other shows where I had a student before me was complaining that he had to go do a top 40 gig or something. This is back in the early 80s when I was with Charlie in 82. And Charlie was, oh man, just make it, do what you can, man. Just have fun. Go. It's music. It's music. So it's kind of like you really. It takes an art form to be able to a real artist to be able to go in and really make the music sound like the way it's supposed to sound. Whether you're playing a top 40 gig or a country gig, you're not going to go in there and play like a jazz piano player on a top 40 gig when you're playing all these pop songs. So. If you're not going to, you play different styles. So it really does present certain challenges for all us artists. So anyway, I'm going to play Melancholy Baby, and then I'm going to introduce a special diddly on the way out here that you're going to see when I close. Okay, so enjoy Melancholy Baby. Well, there you have it. I'll tell you, boy, it's something when you start getting involved with, all these old tunes. It just brings back so many memories. I remember so often when I'd be on a gig, when I was young. I mean, nothing. I'm old now, but it's like when I was in my, teens and early 20s, and people would come up and say, "Hey, man, you're playing like, how do you know all these old tunes? Deep Purple and Tenderly and Skylark and all these tunes we studied it's the jazz artistry. And what's great about what I love about playing jazz piano and is the fact that it's a fresh new experience every time you touch the piano, and it really is I couldn't be happier the life path I've chosen. So it's with all this hard time behind us right now, I mean, we're going to be we're facing us, but hopefully it'll be behind us soon, and we have to try to embrace those things that are important to us, and that's family and friends. And this is surely a way for me to connect to everyone out there. It's a way for me to stay connected to my family. You might see on my Facebook page, I just touched my heart when I saw my mom sitting on her iPad, or a laptop there, and she's watching me with headphones and watching her son. I was supposed to be there for her 92nd birthday, so it was really very touching to know that I can still reach people, family and friends and jazz enthusiasts. And if you're ever during this period of time, who knows when this is going to wind down? It's whether you're cleaning the garage or cleaning the closet or taking up painting, or you want to take up trumpet or flute or piano or any instrument. This is a great time to kind of immerse yourself into those activities, because music is a healer, or any activity for that matter. Just productivity is just in itself is a great thing. So I want to kind of wish you all a very good week. Hopefully see you back here next Thursday. I'll be back at 7 o'clock. And if you're around on Saturday, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'll be on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page. I'll be coming at you. And this next tune I'm going to leave you with is just my farewell song, but it's kind of I get inspired by the great Ed Saindon. He wrote this beautiful piece of music, masterpiece, called Humanity. And I'm playing piano on it, and I wanted to give you a little bit of calming tones and a nice visual to kind of end the show with. So I'll catch you next time, and God bless you all. Take care. Bye.